Welcome again to our journey through the Salmon River estuary. Over the last 5 episodes, we've uncovered many clues to solve the mystery of why so many of our wild relatives make their homes here in the estuary. Just like detectives, scientists make observations to gather evidence, what we've been calling clues. Then they carefully examine all of their evidence to discover what story it has to tell. The same thing we're doing here in our series. Each of our clues is just one piece in a much larger puzzle. What clues have we found so far?
In the first part of our journey, we discovered that the location of the Salmon River estuary is one of the reasons it makes such a good home for so many living things. The temperature and climate are just right, and because it's where the river and ocean meet, it gets food and nutrients from both. In the second part of our journey, we discovered how the water, land, and air habitats of the estuary provide food and safety for all the plants and animals that live here. And in the third part of our journey, we met some of our wild relatives for the first time and discovered how the parents of these 3 special families use the estuary to help their young grow up.
In the 4th episode, we discovered how wild and human families are different from each other, and also the ways in which they are the same. Their differences help them to share the things they need in the estuary. And in our last episode, we learned how each plant, animal, and part of the estuary is a puzzle piece, that they're all connected to one another and need each other to thrive. But I mentioned that there's one puzzle piece that often gets lost: people. Just like the salmon, Sitka, and herons, we need the estuary and the plants and animals that live here too.
Have you ever eaten a salmon? We have been catching and eating salmon here in the estuary for hundreds of years. And what about trees? Have you drawn on a piece of paper or roasted a marshmallow in a campfire? We also need the wood from trees to build our homes and create many things we rely on every day. Have you ever been amazed by a bird in flight or their many beautiful songs? The plants, animals, and even the estuary itself have been sources of inspiration for art, music, and more for generations.
Being outside is a wonderful way to feel what it's like to be part of this giant family. Now take a deep breath of fresh air with me. You can do this thanks to plants, like those in the nearby ocean and estuary, who breathe out the oxygen we need. Now imagine the feeling of taking a sip from a cool glass of water. That is made possible by trees and grasses, helping to keep the water clean and clear. We receive so many gifts from the estuary, but what can we give back to this place and our wild relatives who live here? We can care and we can share.
Just like the plants and animals in the estuary, we also change our environment when we use the things we need. The changes we make can be helpful or harmful to the other things that live here. But unlike our wild relatives, we humans can change the world in very big ways. Because we make such big changes to our world, we have a big responsibility to care for those other than ourselves, just like we care for our own families.
So how can we show we care? By doing our part to share our food and water with our wild relatives. We can also show we care by making choices that help keep our water and air clean for all of us. We are all a part of this place, part of this large family. If we don't share, others like the salmon, Sitka, and heron won't be able to get what they need. And because we need them, we won't be able to get what we need.
So we all need to care about what happens in the estuary because we've learned that what happens in the estuary affects our lives too.
So what have we learned about our special Salmon River estuary? We know where it is in the world, and we've learned how the meeting of salty and fresh water creates lots of food and safety for many wild families. We've also learned how our wild fish, tree, and bird relatives raise their families, how they're dependent on each other, and how we, us humans, depend on them. We've discovered that we all fit together like a living puzzle, a giant family puzzle. Let's all keep doing what we've done together in our series. Keep looking for clues in nature and listening to the story they tell. By caring and sharing, together we can make sure that the estuary stays a great home for all of us for years to come. Thank you for coming along on this special journey with us. We look forward to seeing you soon out in the estuary.